Hello and good evening to you. Welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on news at Desawe Kanda. Also live on TV Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. Tonight, we're staying on what experts say are cases of identity theft identified in the SIM card registration. We have the man who blew the cover on the matter, Kofi Aduma, joining us tonight. A number of you victims have also been sharing with us your experiences. You may want to stay with us on this particular issue. Also, health professionals have been reacting to the United Kingdom's government's decision to put Ghana on a red list for active recruitment. We hear from the Ghana Medical Association and the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association as well. Stay with us on Ghana Tonight. We're touching base with our reporter following the IMF spring meetings in Washington, D.C. in the United States, where Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has also been engaging external creditors on Ghana's quest for an IMF deal. We'll tell you the latest on this. We have that coming through exclusively. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. As always, let's hear from you. You're an integral part of the conversation. Connect with us. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and Twitter. Very, very interactive. Let's get talking. So that's how you can connect with us. But already we put something on Facebook where a number of you have been sharing your experiences with us. You walk into the offices of your telco to just find out, to your shock and surprise, that there are other people who are using your identity, that's your Ghana card detail, as the information they used to register their SIM, without your knowledge. And that's what's happening. And you might think that, well, you know, this could be nothing. But guess what? If those SIM cards that have been registered with your biodata that you are not aware of is used for any criminal activity, if that information is traced, it would come to you. But guess what? You may not know anything about it. That's why we are spending some time on this matter tonight, and let's hear from you as always and connect with us. Let's get talking. It's a very, very important conversation that we're going to be having tonight with all the players on this one as well, together with your experiences that you've been sharing with us. We'll get you into the details of it and how serious this is, especially because the NCA itself, the National Communications Authority, has given notice that they have also got information about what's going on and putting some measures in place to address it. We would find out exactly what can be done as well in the interim. The Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications Chief Executive Officer, Engineer Dr. Ken Ashigbe, is going to be joining us tonight. Kofi Aduma is a journalist who talked about this in the video that's gone viral. A number of you commenting on it. He'll be joining us tonight as well, with a victim as well to this particular situation. Is also going to be joining us while we have a conversation on this. Plus, this issue relating to the UK also putting Ghana on the red list. We will tell you what medical professionals in this country have resolved to do regardless of this red list. They say they will find their way to the UK, even if the government had put us on that red list. We'll tell you why they want to take that risk, and we'll get into the details of these and more here on Ghana Tonight. And let's get into our Ghana Brief segment for today. Find out the news that have been making headlines over the last 18 hours.
From today, win your share of over 3 million Ghana cedis worth of prizes whenever you buy a bottle of Guinness, Star, or Origin. Dial *1000# to submit the code under the crown, and you can win cash, free airtime, and drinks. So, look sharp. This advert is FDA approved. Drink responsibly, not for sale to persons under the age of 18 years. Not recommended for pregnant women.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful Endpoint one?
Chesena me ankasa me period na say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me coin point no mo hwe me modem no mo hwe bibia na so mo medro me fire no ene ma won kra me enu foforo kwa na mkwan mu a eba
and everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko Endpoint o mama nu nura ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's Endpoint for you of Acrobato. Hello hey ohwehwe what che okay a free bra wo di Endpoint wa dance am me call you no me Joseph Sema na enkoyie person na my emre nyina na magina sabema na me be fie for there e ho na nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. Endpoint is my secret. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
Die ajedwedien krato yatum. At long last, Blue Jays Vodka makes a bummer kit. Blue Jays Vodka makes Numbi a fine.
This look, the guys are chilling with Blue Jays Vodka mix.
Wow! Numbi a tasty.
Can we join you guys? We are all single. Yeah.
Blue Jays Vodka mix and we are dead. Taste to me kama. Enjoy the unique taste of Blue Jays Vodka mix. Blue Jays Vodka mix Numbi a fine.
Blue Jays Vodka mix. Blue Jays Vodka mix.
Numuni nyansem won ton manimpa woni mfie don wotwe. Ensesa apinfo no.
Who wins season 14 of Talented Kids? Is it NFC Dance Camp, Abigail, Rahman, Eloquence, Darkness Models, or Emily? It's the final showdown with the 6 finalists of Talented Kids live from the Accra International Conference Center this Sunday, April 16 at 3 p.m. The playground opens at 12 noon for all game lovers. Our finalists have worked tirelessly to perfect their craft and they are ready to take the stage and give it their all. From mesmerizing dance routines to spellbinding singing performances, incredible modeling moves to word dexterity, there is something for everyone.
But you realize, you realize just a toi, a batata.
How
many minutes are laughing under the capacious belly of the earth?
It's going to be a night of celebration of young talents and an opportunity to witness the stars of tomorrow shine bright today. Performing artists are Dope Nation, Photocopy, and many more. Tickets are selling at a cool 30 Ghana cedis at the front desk of TV3. To vote for your favorite contestants, dial *713*13# or download the TV3 reality app to vote. Talented Kids, free to play.
Powered by Indomie. Sponsored by Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, Cowbell, Heaven Black Mosquito Coil and Insecticide Spray, Enapa Mackerel, Kiki Juice Drink, Flora Tissues, Top Choco, Coco Plus,
Deluxe Acrylic Paint.
Ghana is making significant progress in its pursuit for a bailout from the International Monetary Fund at the sidelines of the spring meetings in Washington, D.C. The country's request has received solidarity from the United States and other developed countries as they urge creditors to offer the needed financing assurances to help speed up the board approval process. TV3 reporter Sani Abdul Rahman has been monitoring the engagements in Washington, D.C.
Ghana is at a very critical moment, and we do need to fast-track some of the processes, but as we would imagine, a lot of it is out of our hands, and there is an understanding that China and all the other major players are beginning to come around the common framework, and we believe that that should help fast-track.
Some health professionals are unfazed that Ghana has been put on the red list of the United Kingdom for active recruitment. What was intended to be an intervention by the World Health Organization to safeguard countries like Ghana from brain drain has been met with resistance. Godwin Asidiba was at the Accra Psychiatric Hospital.
For 2022 alone, if you add leave of absence to vacation of post or resignation, 55 nurses left the hospital. This has had a very serious impact on the hospital.
Former President John Mahama has clarified his do-or-die comment he made 3 years ago, of which the ruling New Patriotic Party is calling for his arrest and prosecution for threatening the peace and security of the country. The National Democratic Congress presidential candidate hopeful is on a 3-day campaign tour of the Eastern region.
Do or die, no atwesteno. I say yeah the engine and second echo to Johnny Pani at the other day. And yeah do or die no.
My do or die comment has been deliberately twisted. Well, it's a victory comment. Nothing violence associated.
The National Peace Council has backed calls for a constitutional review on the appointing powers of the president. The call comes on the back of a controversy surrounding the appointment of Dr. Apiahene onto the board of the Electoral Commission. Chairman of the Peace Council, Reverend Dr. Ernest Edujemfi, says the Constitution should be the starting point.
If the Constitution gives the president the power to appoint and is appointed, I cannot go and fault the man. Those are critical issues that I believe the country must have a debate on. You know, we've talked around all of these things for a while, but it looks like we are not giving attention to, you take one act and people begin to act on that. There are constitutional issues that must be addressed.
Ghana Union of Trade Association, GUTA, is entreating all members of the business community to respond positively to the fall in inflation and the appreciation of the cedi. GUTA has urged the government to take advantage of the downward trend of the exchange rate and appreciation of the cedi to further tame inflation. GUTA also urges government to continue with the efforts in reducing the high cost of doing business in the country.
Director of Administration at the Accra Psychiatric Hospital, Julius Kusalusuo, is worried the continual poor working environment means decisions like the one the UK made will have no impact on retention of staff if conditions don't improve.
For 2022 alone, if you add leave of absence to vacation of post or resignation, 55 nurses left the hospital. This has had a very serious impact on the hospital because, number one, it is the most experienced people who are leaving. The sad thing is that for psychiatry, we don't have them so much in the country. It is actually struggling, I must admit.
That's the reality of the situation in our health facilities across the country. It's not just limited to the Accra Psychiatric Hospital. Talking about psychiatrists across the chain. And you see, Ghana is now amongst the list of 54 countries that should not be actively targeted for recruitment by health and social care employers in the UK. In fact, the announcement was made by the UK government a couple of days ago in its revised code of practice for the international recruitment of health and social care personnel in England. That's what we do know right now. Regardless We've seen the nurses and doctors leaving this country in droves. Between January and now, they put the figure running into thousands. And even though there's been some improvement, at least from the document we have from the Ministry of Health, they gave us this graph indicating that at least for the nurses to patient ratio, as you see there, the recommended WHO ratio is 1 to 1 patient, that's 1 doctor to 1,000 patients. That's for developing nations. What we've seen in this country between 2017, you see the 1 to 799. This is the trend in the nurse to population ratio between 2017 and 2021. Between 2017, we saw 1 nurse to 799 patients. Even that has been questioned as to why we should even have that ratio of that many patients to 1 nurse. You see in there as well that in 2018, there was, it got increased to 1 nurse to 839 patients. Now, if you fast forward to 2021, you see there 1 nurse to 530 patients. In fact, in some cases, it's actually more than this 530. And if you look at the doctors, in the case of the doctors, that's what you see. The doctor to population ratio, we've had reports in certain places, especially the hard-to-reach communities in this country, where you have 1 doctor manning a whole facility. So that tells you that they go more than the 1,000 that is put there. It gets even worse when you look at the trends. In 2017, we had 1 doctor to 8,100 people or patients or population size. In 2018, went down a bit to 1,796. 2019, 1,608. That's 6,899. And then if you fast forward to 2021, it's now one doctor to 5,707 patients or population size. That in itself poses that clear problem that we've been talking about over the period. And one of the reasons why the UK put Ghana on this red list was because of this, because they looked at the population to health professional ratio, which in this case of the doctors falls way, way, way below what the WHO is talking about, thousands more, okay? But if you look at this, there's another problem. We're training more and more doctors in this country, and nurses, and other healthcare professionals. But yet, we are very, very far away from achieving this WHO-approved doctor-to-patient ratio, right? The doctors and nurses are leaving this country to countries where they are better paid. That's the fundamental issue there. It is about the economic consideration. So, for instance, if you take a look at this, in terms of, this is from the UK's own website. We got this from the National Health Services website of the United Kingdom. There's an NHS staff in England as of June 2022. This is the number of nationalities or countries who have their nurses and doctors and other health professionals in the UK working. The first, you have India, the Filipino. Nigeria is actually the African country with the highest number of health professionals working in the UK. They have about 15,439. Look at Ghana. Ghana is at the 13th. Ghana is at the 13th position with some 4,581 health professionals as of June 2022. It's down there, okay? Now, when you look at in terms of nationality of the nurses and health that's professionals, Ghana, in terms of the global outlook, that's where we are. 1,887, you see there. And then if you look at the ranking, the global position, that's the number of Ghanaian nurses and other health professionals working in the UK. We are the 13th highest country with the number of health professionals working in the UK. On the continent, we come 3rd. This is after Nigeria, and then as we saw there, Nigeria and Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is on the 11th position with some 5,460. So that's how the situation looks like. And it's not going to get any better because even with this red list, the health professionals are saying they will leave this country if nothing is done to improve on their conditions of service. We would have the Medical Association join us. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association would also join us. We'll have a conversation on this matter. We've been speaking to some of the health professionals as well. And they have a message for government in a few minutes. Stay with us. But I want us to take a look at this. Kofi Adoma is a colleague journalist who shone the light on something that we have already been talking about for quite a while now, about people's biodata on their Ghana card being used to register SIM cards that do not belong to them. Well, you might be one if you haven't gone to your telco to check yet. But take a look at this.
Maybe it's a simple question. What register or SIM card? Process by now fast. Along the line, did you have to repeat the whole process? Bill? If it's a Omokanchia or say network na jammed and I say and shedan koye. Miss Rel, find your way to Shebebia or more offices ni biwo. For Ghana card and go and find out how many SIM cards are connected to your Ghana card. And then me ankasa very shocked. That is why I want you to do this exercise. Medi kan call ye no difficult. Telco no asemwa or kan specifically MTN center no woman semwa woman kan said they can't give me the numbers are linked to my Ghana card. Let me say it is my Ghana card and I want to know numbers are linked to my Ghana card. If a movie or what any me and I'm a sanction ya, I just say mon any free me Ghana card and so if you not even take it out of your system. It became difficult, but I pushed through. Enti me kotenase and I make sure the numbers are me name say me wo. The rest is a different story I will tell later. But they may catch you when I say find a way and check the number of SIM cards that are connected to your Ghana card.
That's Kofi Adoma there. In fact, he's joining us on Zoom right now. Stephen Kofi Adoma is a colleague journalist and CEO of Kofi TV. Kofi, thank you so much for connecting with us here on Ghana Tonight. Also, joining us on Zoom, Engineer Dr. Ken Ashigbe is the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us on Ghana Tonight. Kofi, let me start with you. We've seen this video, that's what we just played, but really, what got you to the telcos to ask these questions about how many Ghana cards may have been registered with your, that's how many SIM cards may have been registered with your Ghana card detail without your knowledge?
Thank you very much, my brother. First of all, I had some complaints. Some were much. I had certain security personnel also drawing my attention to something they felt was quite dangerous and letting them arrest innocent people. So I decided to follow up. I remember going to Tesano police station where I had a tip of that one fraudster was arrested in that same scenario. That is basically, as I explained in my video, that was the strategy that was used in getting these SIM cards. So I decided to follow up with my Ghana card to find out how many SIM cards were connected to my Ghana card. And I was quite surprised with the way I was received. So it made me a bit curious.
I see.
To follow up and get the story out.
So what did you find out after you went there and asked the questions?
Yes, when I got there, strangely, I was told they couldn't disclose how many SIM cards were connected to my Ghana card. That was quite funny because the Ghana card is mine, though it's a national property, but my details are entailed in that card. And so I had a right to know who probably might be using my identity in a form. So I called the MTN headquarters to complain that I came to one of their branches, specifically the one directly opposite the busy internet, to do some inquiry. And the response I'm getting is quite surprising. So I was told, oh, okay, that is the directive they've been given, that they can't just give, for some reasons that they were given that I wasn't satisfied. They can't give how many SIM cards were connected to my Ghana card. So I asked the gentleman, okay, enter the system, check this number. Is this number registered? He said, yes. Is this one registered? He said, yes. What about this one? He said, no. Then I said, but that is also my card that I registered just 3 days ago. He said, maybe it has not reflected. So I realized, no, it was an issue. And I remember during my registration process, I had an encounter that got me thinking. The process was almost through. Then the gentleman told me, boss, your network no akwa down. This is a sign shas here. I said, okay. So he started the whole process again. So after going through the process, I realized at the first one, he virtually did everything. So how come at the tail end, he's just done everything and telling me the system had a challenge, so I have to start again. So that brought about the curiosity and leading to a lot of complaints. After the video went viral, a lot of people have called with several challenges that they faced. In fact, there is one audio I sent your producer,
right,
where one gentleman was arrested, but actually it was due to impersonation. Someone had used his data to register, to defraud someone. He went to register a merchant SIM, and in the process, he was told the SIM could not be, the process could not go through. He left not knowing they had done the registration and sold it to these fraudsters, and they used it in duping others. So it's a serious concern.
And it's indeed a serious concern. In fact, Kofi, you're not alone in this. Prior to this conversation, we have close to 1,000 people who have sent us messages on Facebook also complaining about this, that they found out that their Ghana card details have been used to register SIM cards that do not belong to them. But help our viewers to understand this. How concerning or dangerous is this, Kofi?
That is exactly the challenge. And you know, the police will arrest you, take you through the process before they get to know you are innocent. That time, the embarrassment that you would have gone through and the challenges that come with it. So this is a concern. I don't know how much I mean, the length to which someone will go with the card. But this is just the little that, from the layman's point of view, I can say the card, the SIM card registered with your data could be useful.
I see, but let me bring in Engineer Dr. Kenashigbe. Kofi, stay with me, okay? I'll come to you again. Engineer Dr. Kenashigbe, I mean, you've also monitored this and seen some of the concerns that our people, viewers, and indeed the public have been expressing about this. You get to know, to your surprise, that your Ghana card details have been used to register a SIM card that does not belong to you. I mean, what could have given room for this?
I'm pretty sure you have given your Ghana card you presented it anywhere before, and so, there are people around who might get your details. And if you look at the way the registration goes, it's a two-phase process. So all I need is, if I get, Alfred Ocansey's Ghana card, I see your number, I do the 404, I would send it in. And then it would allow me to do the first phase of the linking. It is the reason why the biometric step is also there. And I'm sure finally when the NCA does the validation of the data that is collected against the NIA, that would really close the loop. But Karen, it is the reason why you find out that the NCA ordered at some point that the MNOs, the VWAs, take out all persons that have done the first phase of the registration and have not done the second phase. It's exactly because of that. Because, there are some fraudulent people around who will do these things. And as late as 31st of March, the NCA directed again that the telcos, anybody else who has done his registration and had not gone ahead to do the second phase, they be debarred. And about 78,000 Ghanaians, where those numbers were taken out of the SIM registry. And
you would have thought that people would have queued back wanting to do that. It's just the fact that people do these things. But then there are systems that have been put in place to ensure that if they do that, they are able to do the second phase of it. And that results in the NCA requiring the telcos to clean up and make sure that they take all of those numbers out of the system. People who do only the first phase and do not do the second phase. So in the coming weeks, I'm sure by the end of the month, the NCA working together with the telcos are coming up with a short code so that in the comfort of your home, you will be able to dial this short code, and then it will be able to tell you, you would have to provide your Ghana card details, as well as some security features that will be put on to ensure that I can't just take Alfred Ocansey's Ghana card and want to do that. So there will be some security features that will be put in place to ensure that once I say this is me, it's actually me, and all that will be done. And so once you do that and you find out how many numbers are registered to your Ghana card, if it is more than that, I'm sure the process will also be laid out where you can then go to the MNOs and then go and say A, B, and C are my numbers. The rest of them are not mine. So then those will be delinked from your number.
In fact, General Dr. Kenachibe, let's go on to some of the comments that our viewers have been sending to us. In fact, a number of you already on our Facebook page, TV3 Ghana, sharing some of your experiences with us. This is what we've got so far. We cannot read all of them because they're running into over 1,000. Adam Terrier says, this is serious because this can mistakenly send an innocent person to prison. And that's indeed the case, or ultimately to death, you say. And Lalito Ringo says, I share a phone number with someone else in Kumasi. Look at that. Okay, so typical situation. Let's go to the next. Kwame says, I thought a biometric system could prevent this, and then you go on and on and on. Let's go on to the next. This says, Ghana card can't solve problem of SIM registration in Ghana, you say, and Engineer Dr. Kenachibe has explained the next step that could have addressed this. This one here says, Serafina says, I use my Ghana card to register my SIM, and when I called someone and the name appears to be someone else's. Yes, so that's what you see there. This one here says, my sister's son's own has been used to register 10 numbers, of which he doesn't even know them. That's just, it's consistent with the number of you who have sent us this. So, in fact, we've just got a victim also joining us right now on Zoom. Nana Kojo, your boy Siama, is a victim of this situation we've just been talking about. Nana Kojo, thank you so much for connecting with us on Ghana Tonight. So tell us, I mean, how did you get to know that your Ghana card detail has also been used to register some SIM cards that do not belong to you? Hello, Nana Kojo, can you hear me? Hello, Nana Kojo, can you hear me? Hello, Nana, can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you.
Great. Now, I was asking, how many SIM cards did you find out have been registered with your Ghana card details that do not belong to you?
About 10 of them.
10 SIM cards?
10 SIM cards. 5 Vodafones and then 5 MTN.
2 different networks?
2 different networks.
And
it was just this afternoon that I found out Vodafone is also having the same issue. But before today, it was only MTN that was having that issue.
So 10 SIM cards have been registered with your Ghana card detail that does not belong to you, or all those SIM cards don't belong to you?
Yes, I didn't do that. I did not do that.
I see. So when you went to these telcos offices, what did they tell you? I mean, what detail did they give you?
Yeah, I've only went to MTN office. I'm here to go to the Vodafone office. So like I was having challenges with one of my Momo account some few weeks ago. So I called MTN customer care, and then I was informed they were doing some maintenance. So the issue will be resolved as soon as it is done. Since then, I've been having issues with my network. The other day, my other number was having connection issues. So I went to one of their offices to check what was the cause. It was when that I found out that about 5 numbers have been registered with my Ghana card without my knowledge. So I tried to buy another SIM to register. The lady told me I can't do that because I've exhausted the 10 number registration limit with my Ghana card, and there were something conflicting data issues. I was surprised. I had only registered 3 SIMs. That is 2 MTN and then 1 Vodafone with my Ghana card. As at that time, that was last week, Wednesday, when I went to the office, their office, MTN office. So I queried them, how can my Ghana card be linked to different numbers without my knowledge? In fact, the 3 numbers, I went to their offices to do it by myself. I didn't send anyone. So I was surprised the comment that the lady made concerning that issue. So they gave me some form to fill. I learned it was a complainant form. So that was Thursday, and then they told me that they will call me from their main office, that is from Accra, so that they verify whether I am the one that did that complaint, for them to delete those numbers from the system. So Friday, I called them myself, and then the lady said, once they have promised to call me, I have to wait for their call until they can do something. So about 5 minutes later, I received a call from them, and then the person that called asked whether they should still go ahead and delete those numbers. And then I gave them the go ahead. So I was supposed to go there yesterday to check whether indeed they have deleted those numbers. But when I went there were a lot of queues. So I decided to come back home so that the next day, that's today, I go again. So this morning, I called their customer care to find out whether they have deleted those numbers. And then the attendant told me that they have indeed deleted those numbers. And I asked him, so how many numbers that they have in their system that are linked to my Ghana card right now? And then she told me they have 3 SIM cards. But the way that the lady was, talking to me, I didn't like. So I had a friend who works with MTN, one of their offices, and I called him to check whether what the lady told me is true or not. So he called me and said, hey, Charlie, what work are you doing that you are using all these numbers? I was like, work. How many numbers do you see there? It was then that he told me 5 numbers have been registered with Vodafone lines, and then other 5 numbers have been registered with MTN lines that I am not aware.
I see.
So, yeah.
So what that means is that even though, yes, you were given a complaint form to fill, they followed up with a call that they were actually going to take action and delete the numbers. That is yet to be done, at least as of today, when you checked with another office of the telco that you're talking about, correct?
Sure.
Nana Kojo, thank you. I really appreciate you sharing this with us. In fact, let me just let you know this. With the messages that we are getting from so many people across the country, you are not alone in this. And so please let us know if eventually action is taken and then the numbers are deleted, okay? Thank you so much. That's Nana Kojo, a victim of this situation we're talking about, sharing his experience with us. 10 SIM cards registered with his Ghana card details did not belong to him. He's not aware of it. Look, and we have so many of you sharing those same experiences with us. Kofi, when you went to the telco's office, what did they also tell you? Were you also made to fill this complaint form, and what next?
Unfortunately, they were also lost. When I explained, he said, oh, Kofi, that is not possible. I said, okay, let me take you through the process. I've gone to register my SIM card. I sit down, my bio is taken, a picture is taken, my Ghana card is taken, the details are entered into the system. I'm supposed to get a SIM card. The one doing the registration tells me, oh, boss, your system has a problem. We're having a challenge. So we have to take your fingerprints again, take you a picture again, and all the process. How sure am I that the first process truly didn't go through? Then top officer at the MTN, he said, so in fact, you drawn my attention to something that I've not thought of. He said, okay, send a mail. Then I'll forward it for them to see how they can address this. But this definitely will be an NCA issue, but send us a mail. I said, okay. So it was through the conversation that I proposed, then why don't we have a short code that any ordinary person can just enter the Ghana card details and be able to know how many SIM cards are connected to this Ghana card. He said, that is also very good. That is all, but this one, we can't do it. That will be the call of the NCA. I tried reaching the NCA, that was impossible. But being convinced with the processes and what I found, I decided to go ahead with the video.
I see. Engineer Dr. Kenashbe, how would this short code that we're just getting to know? In fact, we have some information from the NCA. Let's put it up before engineer you come in. This is the information that we got from the NCA after these complaints started coming through. That's what you see there. The NCA and the telcos have already been actively working on a short code for individual subscribers to verify the number of SIM associated with the Ghana card. You just type the short code on your phone, and after a verification process using your Ghana card PIN, the number of SIMs associated with the Ghana card will be displayed. There will be no need for subscribers to physically go to the telco to verify SIM when the short code is operational. So by the end of April, this month, they're saying a short code will be operational that we can all use to check how many SIM cards have been registered without the Ghana card detail. So that's what you see there. Engineer, so how is this short code going to address this problem?
What exactly? Well, whether you go and do it at an MNO or you go and do it at a school park or whatever, you will not be able to verify that the GPS address I gave you is actually what exactly it is. If we want to do that, there would have to be systems that are put in place to ensure that we all go and register, your house addresses with a central database that says that Kenneth Ashigbe, this is where I live. So when I go anywhere else, there'll be a way in which you'll be able to validate it. So it does not really matter where you do the registration. You would have to provide a GPS address. And when you do it, there is no central database that has where everybody lives in this country. So
how soon this short code should come through, especially because this is going on. People have just found out that the Ghana card details have been used to register SIM that do not belong to them, and they are exposed to all sorts of situations. If these SIM cards are used for any criminal activity, they are going to be the ones in trouble. Engineer Ashigbe?
I'm pretty sure that by the close of this month, these processes, the short code will be completed. I'm pretty sure that by the close of this month, that is going to be done. And as I've said to you, the NCA gave a directive that resulted on the 31st of March, about over 76,000 SIM registrations that had done only the first phase were completely deleted of the system. And before that, we've had to delete a lot of those who have done only the first phase and have not done the second phase. And again, sadly, it is because of that. And so on a constant basis, the industry, the regulator, together with the MNOs are looking into these things and finding ways in which, these fraudulent practices are dealt with.
Dr. Kanashigbe, thank you. I want to thank you. Thank you so much for your time. He is the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications. Also to you, Kofi Adoma, thank you so much for your time here on Ghana Tonight and also sharing this experience with us, and also Nana Kojo who joined us, and many of you who have been sending us messages on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. What we'll do is we'll put it all together and also keep these telcos in the know of what's happening, and the NCA as well. But the doctors and nurses have been talking after the UK red list that put Ghana in there among some 53 other countries. Well, we spoke to some of the health professionals as to whether this is going to deter them in any way in seeking greener pastures in these countries.
Ghana, but there are certain things we are not getting. Let's say I'm a nurse, but if I'm struggling with my health, if I need medications I need to buy, if I have to go to the hospital like every other person, if I don't have my health insurance, I'll not be attended to. And Ghana Health Service, I don't know what they are doing to support us. We are not getting that support in terms of our health.
If the World Health Organization has its way, the 30-year-old senior staff nurse at the Accra Psychiatric Hospital will remain in Ghana. World Health Organization has had Ghana on a red list since 2020. Officially called the WHO Health Workforce Support and Safeguards List, it means no active recruitment is permitted from these countries, the organization said. So, the United Kingdom has obliged
a number of them saying they'll still find their way out of this country and go. Dr. David Tinkrine, General Secretary of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, is with us in the studio. Dr. Tinkrine, thank you so much for joining us and congratulations. I think this is the first time I'm speaking to you after you became your PhD.
Sure, that's great. Yeah.
Great stuff. And so this red list that Ghana is on, clearly your members are saying it's not going to stop them from living in this country. Why?
All right. Good evening, and good evening to your cherished viewers. That is true. I mean, there's much ado about nothing.
Much ado about nothing.
I remember saying this on another platform because there are various forms of recruitment into the NHS. When you go to United Kingdom, we have government-to-government negotiations that result in recruitment of healthcare workers from one country to the other. We have agency-to-government recruitment, and then individuals can apply to what do you call employers or health institutions in the United Kingdom, and they'll be employed. What they are talking about is active recruitment.
Active recruitment.
Exactly.
So that is what, the government-to-government arrangement.
Yes, and of course an agency having to come to maybe the third world country to recruit actively for the NHS.
Which happens in this country. We see a number of agencies recruiting health professionals to the UK, to Canada, to the US.
Yes, that's correct. But as I said, majority of the nurses and midwives who are living in this country go by themselves.
Go by themselves.
I'm telling you. So I'm not sure these things can really deter them from.
But obviously they need some clearance from the Ministry of Health.
Yes, they do need clearance. Not all of them, but the diploma nurses, especially those who were paid allowances of some sort whilst training, or require clearance from the ministry.
So not even a red list is going to stop you from leaving this country. So really, why are you all leaving this country when we need you that much to also take care of us?
All right, thank you very much for this question. Indeed, we are not happy that our people are leaving, and some of us are here. The reason why they are leaving is not far-fetched. We have pull and push factors, all right? And if we started sending these signals long ago, because we realized before even COVID reared its ugly head that because of Brexit, quite a number of nurses were leaving UK. Okay, those from the Scandinavian countries and other European countries were leaving UK, and a gulf was going to be created. So we sent that signal to government that our service conditions are very poor, it's very abysmal.
Your service condition?
It's terrible, my brother. If I tell you,
how much is a nurse paid? Give me an average.
You see, we have various cadres of nurses. We have those who enter at the certificate level, at diploma level, and degree level. What I can tell you on authority is that those who enter at the certificate level who do most of the activities when you go to the primary health care areas like the CHIP centers, the health centers, and the rest of it. don't take anything beyond 1,000 Ghana cedis, all right, as take home. And I'm not supposed to say this, but it's unfortunate. I bleed. If I'm sitting here as a lecturer, my salary is nothing to write home about. What about that poor young nurse? And assuming he's a male and he has a family to feed. So these are serious matters that sometimes is very disheartening to even talk about. Okay, I'm not supposed to put this out, but it's becoming quite frustrating. I don't tell you.
Well, but I understand that you have some of these allowances and perks that come with it. That also makes it a lot more, cushioning than how you're putting it. So 1,000 cedis take home, but you have all of these other vehicle allowances and those other things. Are they still there?
They are not there. You see, it depends on your level. If you are enrolled nurse, where are you going to get vehicle maintenance allowance? Where are you going to get fuel allowance? When we went for negotiations, we wanted all these allowances for our members. But the government,
at all the ranks?
At all the ranks.
From the lowest to the highest?
From the lowest to the highest.
Should be giving all these allowances?
At various grades, okay? If I have a dean of students, and of course, if I have a dean of my university, and I'm just a lecturer, I don't expect to collect the same allowance with the person. So in case of fuel, maybe I may take about 30 gallons of fuel. She might take about 100 gallons of fuel, 50 gallons of fuel. So we wanted a certain graduated fraction of a sort for them. I can tell you on authority that most of these young nurses, who constitute about 70% of the nursing and midwifery workforce, do not take any allowance at all, apart from the salary that they take.